Hello. Hi, friends. Welcome to Nama Bengaluru Podcast, Episode 4 on solid waste management. We have with us today Ms. Smita Kulkarni, who is a techie turned environmental activist, TEDx speaker, entrepreneur. She's the co founder of Stone Soup, which is a social enterprise offering sustainable alternatives. She has won the Nama Bengaluru Award for Social Entrepreneur of the Year 2020. She has worked on several citizen led movements like single use plastic ban, Beat Plastic Solution, Sustainable Menstruation, Green the Red, and Home Composting Swachagraha. She currently manages communications for Sahas, a 23-year-old non-profit organization. This is into waste management and circular economy. Welcome to the show, Smita.
Thank you. Thank you, Vinod. Happy to be here.
Thank you so much. So, in the interest of time, I'll go and delve into the first question. And you are the ambassador for solid waste management as well as this thing, in terms of looking after the city in a clean, green ambassador for Bangalore. What do you think is the biggest challenges in solid waste management today? And Bangalore still struggles with waste dumping and burning in public spaces. What do you think are the key issues why this happens often?
So, two primary things here, Vinod. First, of course, is the connection to the appropriate destinations or having enough destinations to manage these waste. As you know, around 60% of our waste is wet waste, which can be managed either via composting or via converting into biogas. The dry waste, most of it, many of it is recyclable. So, it can be sent to appropriate destinations. It is just the 5% reject that we need to actually manage. But the problem here is not just in having enough destinations, it's also, having the amount of waste that we are generating. So when there is a tap that is overflowing, you can have, fill up enough buckets with it. But the main thing to do is, of course, turn off the tap or reduce the flow of the tap. So Bangalore was generating, just 10 years back, it was generating 3,500 tons per day. Today, it's generating 8,500 tons per day. So our waste generation has tripled.
Yeah.
So we have to turn off the tap somewhere. So the generation is really exploding. The population is not exploding to that level, right? I mean, population has just increased by 10% or something, but our waste has tripled.
I think, yeah, that's the main issue, I think, because of the growing population from some 75 lakhs in the 1990s to 1.4 crores. We are nearly double the population of Bangalore. And so will come the, waste issues with it. So I just want to know, as individuals, when you said Swachagraha and the other campaigns that you had, beat plastic pollution, as well as you had the Green the Red, what small but impactful actions can be taken to manage our waste better?
There are three things. One is best way to manage waste is not generated in the first place. After doing, we can do recycling. You'll try to struggle of how to, connect destinations, but not generating is the first step. And even in that, instead of just having a blanket statement of not generating, managing events, the event management waste is severe. So whether it's large scale events, using disposables, using those decorations, using the huge amount of mixed waste that is generated from events. So if we curtail, the use of disposables in events, just make sure that all events have reusables. Adamya Chetna rents out cutlery for large scale events. Even otherwise, all these tent houses, all these event management companies, they know where to source reusable plates, reusable bowls, and all that from. So managing event management waste is one. The other thing is on, textile waste. The amount of big billion days sale and, great Indian sale. It is much easier for us now to buy new products rather than upgrade our existing products or repair our products or exchange our products or just make sure we re-wear our products. Nowadays, in the age of social media, if I've worn one, I don't want to wear it again. I mean, it's considered that, that's already come in those photos. So now I need newer wear. So the amount of consumption in terms of textiles is huge. And third is, of course, the electronics. The amount of gadgets we are surrounded by, like, you're in a fancy radio studio. But even otherwise, we feel like we are some terminators, with full gadgets. We just have to buy the latest ones, the greatest camera phones, the music systems, everything goes on, accumulating in our houses. E-waste, we've forgotten the art of repair. So I think if we just repair footprint, As well as if we curtail large scale event waste, I think we should be able to manage the solid waste that we are generating.
Very true. In fact, I was coming up to the next one that we were actually looking at. Karnataka has banned single-use plastics in 2016, and there's a nationwide ban which followed in 2022. But has this been really effective when you say single-use plastic, which is really a very, very high amount of waste that goes in? Because today everything comes packaged, your online shopping and everything, and as you rightly pointed out, with all those waste that in individual buys, with the fashion industry really changing quick, and everybody doesn't want to reuse or recycle their waste. What do you think should be done to enforce this ban, maybe in a better way, or for that matter, as an individual, to come out with a plan that, I will not buy this in the next 6 months, or if I'm not wearing it for the next 1 year, why should I, in fact, keep buying or, adding up things to our wardrobe?
So people have made plastic to be a monster. We have WhatsApp forwards on how plastic is choking animals and how plastic is, really bad. I would like to take a step back and, as individuals, we need to think. It's not really the plastic that is, the problem. It is the way in which we are using plastic. So I would, rephrase it saying that disposables are a problem. All the world products can be classified as either disposables or reusables. So disposables is something we just use for a few minutes, few seconds and discard, and that amounts to huge amounts of waste. Reusables are something, on the other hand, that we keep reusing. So in events, you see these plastic chairs, you don't
Yeah.
throw the chair after sitting on it once, right? We keep using it for a long time. So these chairs are replacing wooden chairs, which are so many forests would have been cut down to just cater to our events otherwise, right? So plastic is not the problem. It is the disposable plastic which is a problem, which lies forever in the environment. So as long as, those single-use plastic ban in paper is really good. The policy, especially the Karnataka one, is very extensive. It includes a lot of compostable plastics and a lot of cling wrap and all these problemless products, right? So it's in policy, it's really good. Implementation is, I would say, really lacking. And it's been, people have found really stupid workarounds to these. For example, if plastic cup is banned, people have found paper cup, and people think that paper is eco-friendly. But the thing is, paper cups are also lined with plastic. They're worse than plastic, actually, when in terms of recycling. If good quality hard plastic at least gets recycled, the paper cups have no recycling value. So similarly, instead of plastic bags, people have started using paper bags. Paper bags, they get moist, they don't have the strength. Plus, so many trees are cut to make those thick paper bags, that all these deliveries are coming in nowadays. So it has, paper has become the new plastic now. So we just have to go back to our basics and, use our brains and not just replace all single-use disposable plastic with all single-use disposable paper or some such false alternative like that. It has to be reusables. It has to be steel. It has to be, going back to using minimal. It has to be using handkerchiefs instead of tissues. So once we use all of this, I feel,
It's a good point. I know, as you rightly said, it's a reusable thing and also biodegradable. I think we need to look at what products we use very closely and how it can be reusable and biodegradable. I think, coming back to the black spots in the city, these are things that, I don't know how it happens, but, it keeps reappearing again and again. And, how do we prevent, the people from dumping in these, and creating these black spots in the first place? Though we have BBMP Marshal and we have a rule and there are some fines levied and for the people who are actually doing this or something. But, again, we find that this again reappears. What do you think should be the policy or decision taken by the government or any stringent action taken by the government so we reduce these black spots? Because Bangalore is an IT capital and it's a Silicon Valley. And sometimes we lose that tag because of really unclean streets and non-walkable footpaths.
so black spots actually need some detective work, why is it happening? It's not convenient for example, even for you, as a resident, it is so inconvenient for you to take your waste at night and go and dump somewhere. It is not, you're not doing it because, you want to dirty the city. right? So there is some problem that is resulting in a black spot. Either the collection vehicle is not regular, or the collection timings are not suitable for the people who are living in that area, or the vehicle is not accessible to the people there. Sometimes the gullies are so small that the vehicle is not able to go. And at the time the vehicle comes, the people don't hear and they're not able to come out and give the waste to the vehicle. So it needs some work in terms of why is the dumping actually happening. We're getting home pickup, right? Home pickup of our waste. So what is more convenient than that? We just need to fix the inherent issue. Otherwise, it'll keep reoccurring. If you just clean it up and paint it one day, next day again, the problem still exists. The root cause has not been addressed. So it will continue to do, being dumped. So CCTV monitoring, penalizing, definitely it will work. But the thing is, it will get shifted to some other place. If you're monitoring one place, probably the person will start dumping somewhere else. So inherently, either the education has not happened to segregate or to give it to the vehicle, or the migrant population, and we're not able to get through to the residents. So there is some ownership missing there. Something has not been investigated there.
Very true. I know that. In fact, that is what I'm coming to. The next question is the same thing in terms of segregation. At least the two-way thing should happen, right? And what do you think is today, as we speak, in Bangalore, the sort of segregation average or the statistics that we have? And I think Bangalore as a city has also got into segregation. At least the colonies and the RWAs are also active. And from Sahas, how you have been able to help in the segregation, campaign in the ground level, and what do you think is really happening? And has really BBMP improved their dry waste collection and their wet waste collection?
Sahas works not just with BBMP, with multiple gram panchayats and rural areas also, around 30 locations. We find it much easier to implement this in rural areas rather than in urban areas. Bangalore has kind of exploded, and I don't have to talk about the corruption that happens, the huge amount of waste that we are generating. But we've been working especially in the low income areas. For example, in Siddhartha colony in Koramangala. So where there's no accessibility, people get up, like I was saying, get up early in the morning, 6 o'clock, and leave. The collection vehicle comes at 7:30, so they're not able to get the collection vehicle. So there has to be a place where they can go and give the waste just before they leave, or leave it somewhere so that it can be picked up. So all of these problems were fixed in small pockets that Sahas has been working on. And as far as BBMP is concerned, I feel the introduction of marshals has been really, effective in getting segregation levels high in the areas where they're working. But even then, if you see whether the health inspector, the marshals, if you see the ratio to the population, it's completely, illogical to just expect them to work on their own. So there is one health inspector for one ward.
Yeah, that's what is happening in all others in the city. Today, if you look at it, they are actually sort of violating all the rules for that matter. And I think SWM also comes in that. Coming to my other question was, being an IT capital, I think, we need to look at how the e-waste is being, collected and recycled, because I think that's like a dangerous this thing to go to any dry waste collection center, or for that matter a landfill, or anywhere else where it goes, because I think it also comes with a lot of danger in terms of it being inflammable, or which can burst, or certain other accidents can happen. So are you doing anything about the e-waste, and how are you looking that the e-waste can be recycled and collected properly, or collected and recycled properly?
So, for example, if you're staying in Bangalore, you can drop off your e-waste to Kasarasa, there in Koramangala, or there are multiple points by Sahas itself for e-waste collection. As RWAs, I think it has to be collected separately, because, like you rightly said, if a small tube light bursts, or if a battery is leaking, it will directly contaminate the rest of the waste, and then that becomes a hazardous thing to collect. Again, actually, I would like to stress on the fact that, since we are accumulating so much e-waste, I like the initiative by Apple, where with the new phone, they don't give the charger automatically. You have to buy it separately. Why do you need so many chargers in the house? Just, it's not just about the money anymore, right? We're just accumulating we expect a kit, which has charger, which has earphones, which has this, and the next phone again, it will give all of those things, and we want the new ones. We don't want to use the old ones anymore. So I feel we need to bring back the repair culture, in Bangalore. It was there, it was beautiful just 20 years back. You would have cobblers, you would have these small shops where, you would actually go to repair things. You'd see these watch shops where they would fix all these small instruments also. We're seeing it disappearing from the city. We don't see those cobblers anymore. For every small zip that is gone, we end up discarding the entire item and buying a new one. The cookers, the mixers, the small rubber would have gone, but we need to we just end up buying a new mixer instead of getting it fixed. So we need to bring back the repair culture. It will reduce the burden on the landfill, but it will also create employment to this entire service industry.
I think you're right. I think we need to have the soul Santays with repair clinics also, where
Yes.
everybody can come in with their old stuff, and also so much of antique this thing can be used. And as you said, reduce, reuse, recycle. I think these are the things which the triple R, which is actually missing now with the public, because we have gone into this fast culture and new culture where we want to buy new things. Again, I think coming to one of the key things is how do you transform public behavior and how we can change the behavior that waste is each one's responsibility. Like, waste is nothing but what you generate, right? So, as you rightly pointed out, if we keep recycling and repairing and using the things, I don't think so we'll be sort of needing more than what we can consume. Today, that is a problem. We are buying more than we can consume in many ways, and each house is actually adding up to this waste because of the fast growing online culture and the online shopping, and the thanks to the aggregators like Blinkit, Zepto, and all of them, and Swiggy and whatnot. So things are like growing up. How do you think we should change this, transform the public behavior on consumption?
I think there's a huge disconnect in the people consuming and people looking at waste. People look at waste and they don't like it. They squirm. They're saying that what is this? What is the government doing? So much waste is lying on the road. Like you said, it's not it's a garden city. It's a garbage city, but they don't connect it to their own consumption pattern, right? On the road it looks like somebody else's waste. It's not mine has been segregated, it has been taken away from my site. So what I see there is somebody else's waste.
Mm.
But that is not true. There's a huge to what we see on the road and what we are generating, what we are consuming on a daily basis. We think that we are donating all our clothes away, to NGOs, and we feel drivers to maids, and we feel good about it. But only 20% of clothes which are donated are actually used. Where does the remaining 80% go? It is lying in that dump that we are seeing. So it's our waste. I mean, you mentioned in the beginning that you go for plog runs, and you join plog raja and the Indian Ploggers Army. So we need more of that. We need people. The Ploggers Army will pick up plastic while it's going for a morning walk or a morning jog. And with that, it's not that the plastic will disappear. It is just a way of getting you and me familiar with what is happening on the ground. Of our mentality changing, of our consumption pattern changing.
I thank you for your time. And this was a very insightful and a very interesting discussion. I think we should have more of these discussions, and also with the public as well as all our stakeholders, which are our, in fact, even our PKs for that matter. They go through all this hard grind. And I think they go through these health hazards also. So how we can make not only our lifestyle but for the city as well as in terms. So what is your parting comment like to make Namma Bengaluru, the garden city again, and a clean green garden city again? What do you think are the maybe one or two important habits, behavioral habits and changes that every household can make? Maybe a Swachhagraha vision mission plan, maybe, something like that.
I'll not go that heavy. What I'll just say is very simple things is think before you buy anything. It's not just about the money you spend. It's just about do you really need it, and what will it take to sustain? Will you have to keep upgrading it? Will you have to use it for a few minutes and throw it? So every time you buy something, think before you buy, and think before you throw. So before throwing also, can it be repaired? Can it be, used by someone else? Can it be fixed? If a top is too tight, can you make it loose? Can you make it into a jacket? Can you use it in some other way? So to think before you buy and think before you throw.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Smita. It was very nice talking to you. And I think, these are very insightful conversations that we had. And I think these best practices can be carried out. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vinod.
Thank you.